So I haven't been producing a lot of action figure videos lately because, let's just be frank, first of all, when I go over my action figures, I'm not an opener, so you don't get to see them out of the package, which already turns off a lot of people. Plus, I don't get them very quickly anymore, so by the time I get figures in, you've probably already seen them on a video somewhere or seen them in a store, especially for the guys over in the UK and Australia who sometimes get these figures weeks, if not months before me. So it almost seems like a waste of time, and I don't want to waste your time or my time. But every now and then, I get in some figures that no matter what, I'm going to be talking about them. Let's get into this. All right. Welcome to another episode of Paul's Collectibles. It's good to have you. Thanks for joining me. Today we're doing something that's actually starting to become a rarity here on the channel, and that is we're going to talk about some 3 3/4 inch vintage collection Star Wars figures. Now, I don't normally talk about these too much unless it's just something that I really love, and that's usually only 1 or 2 at a time at most. But this time, I got in an entire case of figures, and the reason why we're going to take a look at them is because, first of all, they're from Andor, a lot of them, and Andor was absolutely a phenomenal show. Some of the best Star Wars I've seen personally, in my opinion, since the original trilogy. The trilogy, you know. And another good part of this wave is also from The Mandalorian, which is second amongst, in my opinion, the things that Disney Plus has put out lately. And I was just enamored and will eat up any of the characters that they give me from those 2 series. And then finally, there's a really cool Gaming Greats figure in here. But with that, we're going to take a look at this entire wave of action figures and see what I'll be adding to my Star Wars Vintage Collection action figure collection today. Okay, and there's the figures straight out of the box from Entertainment Earth, and this is the entire case assortment. As you can see, you get 1 Cal Kestis, 2 of the Vel Sarthas, 1 Luke from the Imperial cruiser from The Mandalorian, 2 Cassian Andors, and then the artillery Stormtrooper. And as with previous videos where I've done an entire wave of figures, we're going to do what I call a worst to first on these, but that doesn't mean in any fashion I think any of these are really bad. I've already had a quick overview look at them, and I'm just excited to have them. But we'll start with the one that I'm least excited about and end with the one that I absolutely am just giddy about. And we'll start with this Cal Kestis from the upcoming Jedi Survivor game. Now, like I said, just because he's first on this list, which makes him last in my heart, does that mean this is a bad character? Absolutely not. I'm pretty excited to get anything, especially the ones that carry the lightsabers. And I gotta be honest with you, that's a really good looking card. It's a little washed out with brown, but obviously he has to be on that planet to make it appropriate, I guess. And in the background, you can see his little, I think that's a BD-1 droid or something like that. But you got the nice Star Wars Jedi Survivor logo, the interesting olive green name pill background, and the olive green character background. Let's get a closer look at him. All right, so there's a close look at the guy in the package, and that's actually, it's pretty cool. It's not super exciting, obviously. I think one of the complaints about Star Wars lately in general is that it, since Andor, it just doesn't kind of look like Star Wars because people are wearing kind of normal clothes, but I don't have too much of a problem with that. He's got a great face sculpt that looks a lot like the electronic rendition we're getting on the side on the card there. He's got his pistol, he's got the lightsaber, and I think that's really cool. They've got the BD droid down there with him, and he's got the hilt. So you're getting quite a bit in that package, especially since they have a tendency to call things deluxe when, frankly, a lot of us don't think they should be called deluxe lately. But that looks pretty good. That's not a bad character, and I'm happy to have him. And good old Cal Kestis is VC265. Next up, we have Vel Sartha from Star Wars Andor. As I mentioned before, Andor is absolutely my favorite series on Disney Plus at this point. That kind of series was right up my alley. I've always been interested in the little people, what the normal people were doing in Star Wars, and I enjoyed every episode. Yeah, I will even admit it was a little slow at times, but overall, #1, loved it. So I'll take all the figures from this series, which is good because I'll tell you why, and I can be honest and objective. I was excited for this more than that Cal Kestis because I wanted the figure from Andor. But I mean, if you look at this card, the card's not bad. Okay, it's a good looking figure, a good looking character. But mostly when you get to the actual action figure, let's just be honest. Okay, so it almost just looks like a normal human female with an AK variant rifle. There's nothing else in there. She's just kind of brown and black with some brown boots. The head sculpt is, it's pretty good. There's nothing to complain about in there, but overall, as far as exciting Star Wars characters go, let's just be perfectly honest with, she's nothing to get really, really excited about. I mean, I'm obviously happy to have her from Andor, but she just looks like a regular old person, exactly as she should. And Vel Sartha is VC262. So next up is one that I know a lot of people were excited about and just ecstatic to get, especially after it was announced. And we just knew when they put him in The Mandalorian, we were going to get him. And that's Luke Skywalker, Imperial Light Cruiser, when he comes on at the end of season 2. And if that didn't make you slightly emotional, then you're a better person than me. Because even my wife, who's not into Star Wars, was like, oh my goodness, it was such an excellent episode. And that's why I'm happy to have this figure. Not to mention the fact that I started off my vintage collection, or actually my 3 3/4 inch Star Wars action figure collection, just collecting the guys with the lightsabers and the troopers. So this would have been one I would have picked up anyway, but it's what a great figure overall. It's got the orange name back, the orange figure back. The card, I'm trying to decide if I think that's cool or if I think it's a little too washed out and a little shrouded. It's cool, but I mean, the card, in my opinion, is supposed to showcase the figure, and this one does an okay job. It's more evocative of the scene, which is why I'm so excited about having this figure, but you can't really see Luke. Maybe it would have been better if they had even staged a photo, but I guess also, they want to keep his face a little shrouded since it was CGI. Regardless, the card is passable, and it's the one that I like next after Vel Sartha. Let's get a look at the figure really fast. Okay, that face sculpt is really good. They did an excellent job on that. He comes with the pistol, he comes with the lightsaber, he comes with the unignited hilt, and look at the details and wrinkles on that Jedi robe. He's got the soft goods cape back there, as you can see, or cloak. For a costume that's all black, because it has to be, and it looks beautiful, they did an excellent job of still putting in some detail, so he just didn't look all, boring and black and washed out. So that's an excellent figure. Actually, the action figure itself, outside of the fact that I'm more excited about the next two coming, is probably one of the best in this line, if you ask me. I mean, look at that. What a great figure. And Luke Skywalker from the Imperial Light Cruiser is VC264. Now, between this figure and the Luke Skywalker figure, I ran into what I could best describe as a conundrum, because I looked at this one and the figure itself is as good as the Luke Skywalker figure we just looked at. This is obviously Cassian Andor with the orange name pill, orange name back from the series Andor. And first of all, I know there's a lot of just bland plain colors in this card, but the way they showcase the actor's face and the pose and the overall capture right there is just stunning, and I think that's an excellent card. It looks really good, and for what they had to work with, I'm just ecstatic that the card came out that well. Now, like I said, except for one thing, this figure is a tie with the Luke Skywalker. This card's a little better than Luke Skywalker, but the figure is a tie. I mean, because look at this guy. That head sculpt is spot on Diego Luna. That is excellently done. Cassian looks very good in there. Although the outfit is pretty plain, not gonna lie. He had some cooler outfits on probably in the series at times. I think they did an excellent job with that. The jacket looks beautiful. It's got some wash on it. Then underneath, he's got his blue and green with the belt, and then the khaki pants. He only comes with a pistol, but I mean, really, that's, I guess, really all you need, just a pistol up there. But that figure is beautiful, and it rivals the Luke Skywalker we just looked at. The only reason I like this one more is because I've been a fan of Cassian Andor and Diego Luna since Rogue One, and when I found out they were giving us an Andor series, I was ecstatic. So this guy, unfortunately, just edges out Luke Skywalker. And Cassian Andor is VC261. Okay, and finally, the number one figure out of this line. Come on, you knew which one I was going to pick if you've watched my channel for 5 minutes. That's going to be this beautiful Star Wars The Mandalorian Artillery Stormtrooper. Now, to ask Paul, do you like this deco? let's just say I'm a fan, okay? This figure is absolutely off the chain too. Let's start with this card back. Come on, man. What an excellent pose. Now, obviously, I don't think we got to see the guy actually in The Mandalorian look like this because he came and went so fast, but for a card back, that is an excellent pose. Even if it's a render, it's hard to tell. It looks photoreal in the background for sure. Regardless, love the way he's posed. They did an excellent job. I love the light, kind of almost a darkish blue name pill and figure back that they've done here. It really contrasts, but also goes nicely with the overall deco of the card. Great card back. And then when you get up on this figure, I mean, we've talked about this before on this channel. This is that new Rogue One sculpt and mold they've been giving us. And I've said it before, they could make every variant of Stormtrooper they can think of with this new mold, and I will take it. That is just gorgeous, and I love it. Look at that nice yellow deco on there. They've cut it in nicely. I like that he's not weathered. I think it looks beautiful. They've done the knees and the ankle pieces beautifully on there. He's got the nice yellow pauldron. And here's another figure that's just packed with great accessories. And I'm glad they didn't decide to do some sort of box thing with it, because I don't buy those and don't like them. But he comes with 4 artillery pieces, which if you look closely, they're just the thermal detonator from the back of their uniforms. I get a kick out of the fact that they can be launched as mortar pieces like that as well. And from a former Army field artillery man, this guy is also right up my alley. And he comes with his E11 blaster, and he comes with the mortar and base down there. So what a great figure, great bang for your buck. Beautiful overall figure, beautiful overall card. This one is the one that absolutely sweeps the others in this figure wave. And the artillery stormtrooper is VC263. Well, there's something hilariously funny. I was about to put the figures back in the box so that some of them could be stored when I found another figure I had completely forgotten about, the Star Wars Mandalorian Klatoonian Raider. And that shows you how interested and excited I was for this figure. It's just nice to have, but really quick, I don't like that card at all. The one where they don't have the figure or the actual character, they just put the vehicle they were in or something. Not a big fan. They've done that with the TIE Fighter before, and they've done it with one other thing too. Oh, the ATST pilot driver thing. That card is pretty much worthless to me, I'm not gonna lie. It's just a really cool picture of that ATST. Nothing to do with the Klatoonian Raider except for maybe some silhouettes down there. He's not an overall bad looking figure. That's a good head sculpt for the most part, the helmet, and I love the cloth, the way they did it around his neck there. He's got the pistol on his chest with another pistol up in the bubble there in case he wants to dual wield. Coming on down, he's got like this skirt type thing going on there that's obviously tattered. So the folds underneath his shirt there, they look a little fakeish. And I think they could have done some wash or some, slightly different color variation in there to give it a little bit of depth or whatever. But, it's not bad, especially once again, like I said, at this scale. I'm still amazed that they can do the quality that they do at this scale. So I'm not going to complain too much, but there's a look at the Klatoonian Raider as well. And the Klatoonian Raider is VC266. But there you have it, just a quick look at a great set of figures from 2 of my favorite Disney Plus series so far, plus one of my favorite TVC figures that they've released ever at this point, especially recently. I'm ecstatic to have them. And I want to thank you for joining me. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, maybe think about doing that for me. That's the best way to support my efforts here on Paul's Collectibles. And if you're already a subscriber or somebody who's been watching my videos for a very long time, I greatly appreciate you. But with that, I will see you on the next video.